So, I went to Japan recently. There's a lot of food that they have over there that we have over here, snacks mainly. I thought it would be a fun idea to bring home a bunch of the things that I knew that I could get in the US and then try the US versions right beside them. So I have a bunch of stuff that I got at a convenience store in Japan and some not at a convenience store, and then crammed in my suitcase and brought home, and then bought the same stuff over here. I thought that it would be a fun idea to just eat those side by side. I did some prep work. I got some cup noodle here. Can you tell the difference between the American and the Japanese? Well, one of them looks a lot more sad than the other one. I took some pictures before I cooked them, and the American one is like 3 pieces of corn on top of some noodles. The Japanese one is like tons of toppings of this stuff. Like, I don't even know what this stuff is. Like, what is this? Is this egg? I don't even know what it is. Anyway, I'm gonna start with the American one because I feel like that's gonna be the more disappointing one, and I'd like to end on the good note. I just cooked this and it's extremely hot, so I'm gonna burn my face on this. Very bland. Just like empty noodles with not much flavor to it. So let's try the presumably good one. Okay, kind of made a mess of that one. So honestly, those don't taste too much different. The Japanese one has a little more flavor. It definitely has more toppings on it. I would prefer the Japanese one more. While I was in Japan, ate a lot of cup noodle. It was like my standard procedure to, at night on my way home to the on my way back to the hotel, I would stop at a convenience store and get a big cup noodle thing of the curry flavor, which I don't even think they have in the US. At least I haven't found it anywhere, just like at grocery stores and stuff. And then in the morning I would just cook that for like breakfast, that I didn't have to go anywhere and worry about what I was going to eat in the morning. And that was honestly very good. And then I could just go straight into doing fun stuff in Japan, which was cool. So anyway, that was my breakfast. So how about we could do a little dessert for the breakfast and do a classic Kit Kat. As you can tell, the Kit Kats look very different from the US and America. And I've actually never eaten one of these. These are at like every convenience store in Japan. They're like big fat Kit Kat bars as opposed to like the little skinny rectangles that we have in America. Classic Japanese snack where they have tons of weird flavors of Kit Kats, but I'm just doing the basic one here, which I actually never ate while I was in Japan. I'm gonna start with the American one like I did with the other thing though. All right. Classic, chocolate and crunchy. Let's see if this one's any different. Look at that big fat thing compared to this little skinny thing. What the heck? I feel like the chocolate's darker on the Japanese one. There's something different about it besides just the fact that like it's so much bigger and like thicker. It's just a girthy Kit Kat. Besides that, I feel like the chocolate tastes different, which honestly, chocolate in Japan, so good. My go-to candy bar there was the Ghana chocolate, which is just a good chocolate bar. It's just like plain old milk chocolate, but it's really good. So anyway, there's my breakfast and my dessert. So now I'm gonna have like a midday snack. This is another funny comparison, just looking at the difference of the American and Japanese. Look at that. Look at how much bigger and fatter the American Pringles are than the Japanese ones. I never tried the regular Pringles while I was in Japan. I tried like some of the fun flavors. Like they have one that's consomme flavor, which I don't even know what that means, but that was like a really good type of flavor. They have that flavor of like everything, and I don't even know what that word means because I don't think it's Japanese. All right, American Pringle. Tastes like salt and nothing else. Open, you bastard. Japanese Pringle, a little smaller. Tastes about the same. It's just an obvious size difference and coloration difference. What the heck? The Japanese one is like white and the American one's like a tannish color. What the heck? How about we do another sweet thing? I got Snickers bars. Yet again, can you tell the difference between the Japanese and the American? When I went to a convenience store, a gas station, as they're called in America, I could only find a king-size Snickers. There are no regular bog standard Snickers. What, are we all kings now? If the whole world's kings, then there's no royalty. It's honestly BS. We gotta have the basic little Snickers for the peasants. Pretty good. Can't go wrong with a good Snickers. Japanese one, pretty similar. Except that I feel like the Japanese one is a little more mushy. The American one was more like rock solid, and the Japanese one was like chewy. I don't know, maybe I'm making that up, but that's the only difference that I could tell. Those are all pretty similar. I would say the only one with the big difference is the cup noodle. All the other stuff is pretty similar besides the size difference. And of course, with the Kit Kats, you can get all the funky flavors like wasabi and lemon and whatever disgusting other crap you want to get for that. Which I didn't bring any of that home because I did that the first time I went to Japan, and that was like 2 years ago. But here's the most ridiculous thing that I did. I got Big Macs, and I thought it would be just a genius idea to go to a McDonald's in Japan, buy a Big Mac the day before I went home, stuff that in my suitcase, bring it home, and leave it in the fridge for 2 weeks. So this is a very old, you can tell by how smashed up the box is. This is a very old Big Mac that I microwaved just a minute ago. And this Big Mac is also about a week old that I got in America and put in the fridge so that they would be about on an even playing field. So this is probably going to be gross. Also, I've never eaten a Big Mac before in my life, so this is going to be a great experience of what a Big Mac is like. I'm sure that this is how they always taste. I find it funny because I knew a guy who once had a Big Mac that he left out on his dining room table and then just continued to leave it there for years. And interesting thing about Big Macs with the amount of preservatives that are in them, not a single ant or cockroach or bug of any kind had any interest in that Big Mac as it sat out in the open on a plate for multiple years. And it never got moldy or anything, just kind of stayed looking exactly the same as when the guy bought it. And he took to having birthday parties for his Big Mac every year that it sat out there. Yeah, so I'm sure that this will taste exactly the same as it did the day I bought it. So this is the American one, and looking a little shriveled from its time in the fridge, but first time biting a Big Mac. You know, not bad. Tastes like a burger with some sauce on it. Now for the Japanese one, which is a little smaller, which might be because it's older, it's shriveled up a little. We just don't know. It tastes a little different, but I can't put my finger on why. Oh my gosh. I've only taken like one bite of all this stuff and I'm already like full. Yeah, I feel like the meat is a little different on the Japanese one. And also it didn't have as much sauce on it. And also it's smaller, as all the Japanese stuff is. Except for the Kit Kat, which is fatter. I don't know why that's the one thing that gets to be bigger and everything else in Japan is smaller. They just like their Kit Kats, I guess. That was interesting. For the most part, I would say a lot of this stuff is the same. So if you're in Japan, don't bother getting the stuff that they also have in America. Just get the new stuff. Get the Japanese exclusive stuff. Except cup noodle. Try that. Especially the curry flavor. I highly recommend that one. But besides that, you can just avoid all this stuff, I would say. Man, what a disappointment. Like, several weeks in the making and thousands of miles of travel, and it just ended in this disappointment. Wow, I better end this recording. And also I better finish all this food. Oh my gosh, I don't want all this food to go to waste. Now I gotta eat it all. But that's it. I love how this is the video that I made about my trip to Japan, was bringing back American food. I guess if anyone watches this and wants to hear more about the actual trip to Japan, I could make another video about that. But, you know, what else do you need than Big Macs and Pringles?